Hey there. What would you say if I told you that I felt that self-care is just as much about what you do for yourself as how you respond to what's going on around you? Hi, I'm Nichole Banducci, and I empower working moms to prioritize self-care via simple planning and inspiration, and hopefully today inspiring you with this conversation. So it all started, and I really started thinking about this, and it makes sense that your mindset has a lot to do with how you feel about yourself. But a lot of times it's those small little daily actions that can build up and really be detrimental to you. So you could do all the yoga and eat as healthy as you want and have the fitness and the mindset and the physical things you're doing for yourself. But if you then leave the house and you go blow up with someone at CVS, that's going to just break down any of those good feelings that you had earlier. And this all started with me, and there is a story about CVS as well, but where I really started thinking about this is the other day, my little one, she's 7, and we were getting ready for school, and she tends to always be on time. So we were just rolling through the morning, and we hit a brick wall when she refused to put her shoes on because her socks hurt, her shoes hurt, and she just couldn't handle it. And my initial reaction might have been, come on, dude, let's get the flip out of the house. I got things I need to do. You need to get to school. And instead, I stopped myself for a second. I'm like, she really is in pain. Let me reframe this and see how I could help her. So I looked at the clock, and at this point, we were going to be late to school. So I said, you know what, sweetie? Let me help you. We're going to be late to school. We'll just deal with that when we get there, but let's fix your feet. And she actually needed a little bit of a pedicure. She had a little bit of an owie on one of her toes. We bandaged that up. We flipped her socks inside out. So the ridge, those damn socks, the ridge wasn't bugging her foot, and got her set. And we ended up at the end of the day just being a little bit late. She was the last one in the gate. The school was actually running a little late this morning, and it worked out. She and I talked about how it changes the cars we see in the morning, and it's something we can laugh about later. And it was funny because there's times, and we've all been there, where I was like, come on, dude, let's go. Or you get upset in the moment, and then you carry that with you, usually for at least 15 minutes. But I've carried stuff like that for longer, like an hour of just feeling like crap. And then you go through the being upset, you're in a hurry, and then you go over the curve where then you feel regret and you feel bad. And then you start judging yourself as a mother. And why did I do that? So in this instance, instead of going through all of that on the way to school with her, we felt good. We were having fun. And I'm going to be late. I wonder what it's going to be like. And it completely flipped the switch. And it made me feel better about myself. I didn't get a knot in my stomach. And it was as if I'd gone to yoga, like that uplifting feeling I had. And it's so critical in terms of instead of reacting to something all the time, because it's so easy to do. We're busy. We got a lot on our mind. We've got hormones. Instead, focusing on responding and taking stock of what's going on, assessing the issue, what can I do with this? How can we make it better? And then respond in the right way. And sometimes you can't respond and draw it out and be late. So you have to respond accordingly, but at the time, that's what made the most sense. I mentioned that there was a CVS situation, talk about hormones. I was at CVS, I was not in the best of moods, and I was asking for something, and the lady was honestly not the nicest person in the world. And instead of just being, hey, you know what, she's having a bad day too, move on, I responded by not being the nicest person in the world, and I was actually kind of bitchy to her, which those of you that know me, it's not my normal stance on things. Like, trust me, I can be if I need to be, but generally I try to take the happier road. So I was crankpot to her, and I kind of stomped off on my way. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it just wasn't the nicest thing. I wasn't like totally embarrassed, but just not appropriate. And I walked around the store for the next 15-20 minutes getting what I needed, and I felt like crap. And I was kind of angry and I was perturbed. And then I went over that curve where I was like, oh, I'm almost embarrassed to leave the store, to see her. I feel bad, which was just as evil on myself, because then not only did I feel bad, I was making myself feel worse for saying, why did you do that to her? So on my way out of the store, I actually approached her and I said, you know what? I'm sorry with how I treated you earlier, how I reacted, totally on me, even though she was kind of a bitch first. But who cares? You take it with the role. I'm sure I had a part to play in that initial interaction. And I thought she was going to cry. She's like, oh my goodness, I didn't even think about it because this happens to me all day long. But I really appreciate you coming up to say something. And you know, at the moment, like as I was walking out the store where it could have been this like grouch, 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 get in my car, grouch, grouch, grouch. Instead, I felt uplifted. I felt really good about how I responded to the situation in the end. I reacted at first, but then I took assessment what was going on. I reevaluated what I should really do, and then I responded the right way. And I felt better about myself. And that is worth its weight in gold. Like it's felt better than, you know, leaving the spa with $100 facial. It's because I had a smile on my face. I felt better. And my response was just the best way I could have handled my self-care, and it turned my day around. And it's kind of interesting is if I left in that stress mode, I bet you an hour from then I would have been craving chocolate or I would have been craving chips because it sends your body into a stress response mode. So the way you respond or react to your world sends you into a mode that makes you think, and I've talked about this before, where you're being chased by a tiger and your body's like, holy crap, she's upset, she's scared, something's going on, and it floods your system with cortisol and all your other stress hormones go up and your body's like ready to fight. And when it does that, it says, oh, I better buck up and get ready for this fight. I want sugar, I want fat, I want salt. And that's where your munchies come in when you're in a bad mood. So if you can respond the right way in the beginning part of that, not only does it help your self-care just from a mental standpoint, but through the day, you're less likely to make really bad food choices because you've been able to mitigate that stress response and that anger and the bad feeling early on. And that's priceless. So hopefully that helps and you'll start thinking about, instead of reacting, responding and taking care of yourself in perhaps a new way. So I'd love to hear what you think about it. Give me comments below and I'll see you soon. Take care. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out. If you want more like this, subscribe and check out the links below.